Hey, B here. I'm not dead, but I wouldn't blame you for assuming that. Anyways, what's the subject for today? Oh god, no. So, I'm assuming you guys have seen this, and this, and this. But who is this? And why is he so angry? Okay, confession time. The next part of this video was filmed originally in 2023, when the clip from the livestream was first dropped. But I kept getting sidetracked because of uni stuff, and I've been looking for a time to use it again. I was also wondering if making this video would even accomplish anything. The problem with Mr. Pronouns is that he believes any attention is good, saying so in his videos and liking comments talking about monetizing hate. That's probably where the inspo for his beautifully edited thumbnails comes from. So, that left me to wonder if I should just let the audio go. After all, can't I just ignore him in his little corner of the internet? I'll explain later, but I don't really think that's possible. Plus, the audio from last year is me explaining my personal history with Az. Combine that with the fact that he refuses to change his stances on anything, I believe the audio is still relevant. Wish I used a better mic though. So, enjoy listening to my friends learning about a lolcow.
Hey, I think it's time now then.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just need to find my phone because I had my script on it.
Stop it.
Stop that.
You stop doing that.
Okay, I'm just gonna double check.
Oh my god.
No, I just spoiled it.
Who that is.
Great, because I was about to
I
ask
know
you.
what that is. I said, are you a Discord profile like that guy with a lesbian profile picture back there? I think that was him.
That man is the topic of today's
He
discussion.
had like a lesbian
Okay,
flag
okay.
on his background.
We're gonna actually do things. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, sort of.
Well, right.
Anyway.
The reason why we're all together here today, I am about to introduce you to a very special person. Does this image strike a bell to anyone?
Yeah, I'm not with a lesbian flag.
No. I saw it because sent me a picture of the lesbian.
Well, this man is a YouTuber who's gotten himself into some hot water recently. The channel's name is HeelVsBabyFace, and he's a part of a group called the Fandom Menace.
What?
Yeah. I learned about this guy through a podcast I unfortunately used to watch. Through an episode where they were talking about the Last of Us 2 game. I know you like. The podcast did not like. I immediately did not like this man because the other members were talking about like problems with gameplay in the story, and this guy would keep bringing the conversation back to the fact that Abby is unattractive.
And they both look like fucking males. They both look like, one looks like a boy and one looks like a man. Well, it's just this they got this thing about defeminizing females. Every woman in the game is, defeminized to such a degree. It's such a distracting thing to do, though. I could never take this character seriously looking like this.
Well, this whole thing is like, but you guys false advertised. So yeah, that's.
But let's be honest. You saw that picture of Abby where she's holding the golf club. You could easily be forgiven for thinking that was the trans character.
Oh yeah, because
Abby doesn't look like a woman. That does not look like a fucking woman. I think Druckmann very purposely made Abby completely asexual and non-feminine.
And also,
I've heard this.
it's unrealistic for her to have that body type in the apocalypse.
I have many opinions about that.
They were literally in a boot camp. How does that even make any sense?
There's literally so many clips of her like working out.
Yeah.
Like this is
How is it not realistic?
And in that
Have you lived in an apocalypse?
in that scene where it was like in the past, she wasn't as ripped as she was in the current time.
No, that was his problem with it, because like his thing was like, well, why was she a normal girl when she was a child, but then 5 years later she became like super ripped?
But what was even more jarring is that every single solitary flashback she's in, she's just a normal girl, looking like a normal girl. And then when it jumps to the present day, suddenly she's Mr. T. But in the flashbacks, you can't take her seriously because she looks like a normal fucking female.
Because she was an adult.
my god.
She was
Nice
probably like 14 years old in the first clip you see her as a kid. Like obviously she's not gonna be ripped. They don't start when they're like 5 years old. They have to get up to that age where they're able to fight. So it doesn't make it. His argument makes no sense. Also, like that's a real person he's talking about too.
That's like.
I don't understand that as well either. Like, does he want her to be wearing a skimpy outfit in the apocalypse?
He wants her to look like a woman.
No, I just would like a woman to look like a woman. And I think,
Women can look like anything.
No, you don't understand. If she isn't skinny, and women cannot be buff. Women.
Okay, go to a bodybuilder. Okay, he doesn't have the right to talk. He's not buff.
He sits in a chair and plays video games all day for a living.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets to talk.
He doesn't go outside.
Also, he had a problem with the character of Lev.
Let go of all time.
Not direct quote, but basically he said that no one would care about pronouns at the end of the world.
But Lev shaved their head because they're identified as male in the post-apocalyptic world 25 years in.
Lev should be dead. That's all I'm gonna say. Lev should be fucking dead.
Did you see
He just punched him and said, "Fuck your first world problems, bitch."
Yeah.
That'd be great.
back out should have been the whole game confirmed? Would have made it so much better.
Imagine if he was in your group all game, just punching, trying to.
Yeah, he doesn't have any
Oh, yeah.
weapons. It's,
And unfortunately for me, at least me back then, Az kept showing up and dropping more of his hot takes.
as James has just
I'm
highlighted.
pretty sure
It's not
the
actually.
game showed us that women don't shave under their armpits after the apocalypse. That is death.
That's what the,
Neil
oh,
Cockman has a. Do you think he masturbates about Ellen Page?
I was got mixed up with Ellen Page.
Abby.
I think Abby.
Yeah, Abby's probably the one that. You know.
Like in,
No, I think he's intimidated by Abby. I think
That's why it gets him off.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That's his fetish, bro. He's like,
Yeah, okay.
I only wish all women were stronger than men.
There's theories about why it was a golf club. From it's it's kind of like a symbol of affluent male power to Trump being particularly into his golf and all that sort of stuff. And
I don't know about that.
for all we know, I'm gonna play devil's advocate just because. But for all we know, he could be like, God damn it, we're trying to create a civilization here, and now we've got 2 women off the market.
well, I mean, as much as that could be reason doesn't mean it's called a bit loud.
No. Buildings which sent you to the synagogue to pray to Neil Cockman. We get it, Ellie's gay. We get it. Black life didn't matter, did it?
Not that one. He was trying to kill you. So
He's close to the main reason why I initially dropped the podcast. There's an aura about this man that causes the whole conversation to be dumber. One of the most prominent examples I remember of this was when they did an episode on the show Loki. As another infamous member of his little group named Gary would keep bringing up the fact that the female main character was more competent than Loki.
I'm slightly confused by one thing though. Where does the woman come in?
So-
Female Loki. I refuse to call her Sylvie.
I
Call her female Loki. It'll piss off a lot of people.
The writers are thinking, how do we make female Lokis? I apologize, Gary. How do we make female Loki better? They don't care about any of this. This
Kick Loki in the balls 4 times. 4 times. They just shoved the male character aside for the female character.
Oh man, it was. Don't you know she is so much better than our Loki in every way? Like,
Literally,
she's
yeah.
just-
There's nothing he can do that's better than her. He even teaches her his magic, and she's got all that now too.
Female Loki never did anything by her actions to show that she was great or amazing. All she did was be obnoxious and tell Loki to shut up and then grape
Well,
him at him.
They went on this weird tangent about ovaries and stuff.
She's on her way. We're getting
Where
to
does
it.
the
She's on her
vagina come
way.
in? Come on, don't worry about it.
You're a girl. It's
You're a
cool.
woman. You got a
Who's
body.
man?
Here's a list of takes that I've heard from this man over the years. Bisexuality does not exist in comics. Yeah. Basically, his main reasoning is that if a character is made bisexual, the only reason they're made that is to be with, in a gay relationship, so therefore they are not truly bisexual because they are only in gay relationships.
What?
That's logical, right?
Yeah.
The one before that, of course, was Tim Drake, gay. And by the way, before people go, hey, no, these are coming out as bisexual. No. Bisexuality doesn't exist in comics. It's gay.
Basically, if you're bi and you are not in both a straight and a gay relationship, then what's the point, honestly?
Okay, so I'm straight
He
then.
needs to
Yes,
I'm
you are.
dating a man.
He needs to take a lesson in some philosophy.
Loki gets drunk easily because he was written by a woman. Yeah, he basically went on a little tangent about the reason why he thinks he was emasculated was because the main writer is female on the show.
If Ben shows him getting drunk on the train, now I'm sorry, someone with his physiology would not get drunk on a couple of glasses of champagne.
Well,
But he's a woman. This
There's a
Loki
reference to
is a woman. It's written by women as a woman. That's why he's emotionally unstable. That's
Yeah.
why he can't handle his fucking liquor. That's why he's weak.
That's why he sings and dances.
Yeah, it's
Those
'cause
women
it's a
with the
woman.
figured
It's a
dance.
woman.
yeah, men do not sit around and talk about what love is. Fuck off.
Isn't Loki gender fluid or something?
Yeah.
Okay, then what is he talking about?
Well, obviously gender fluidity doesn't exist in this universe.
Men kill themselves more than women because there are no...
Sorry, this sentence.
This is getting dark.
Men kill themselves more than women because there's more media being made currently with strong female protagonists.
Causation? What? Okay. Correlation? He's like this. Superman!
There's no such thing as depression. It's just because there's too much feminine energy.
Yes.
What?
How will this situation make boys and young men see themselves? Poorly. That's how. And I absolutely agree. And I think now we're starting to get into territory very much that I've heard speakers like Jordan Peterson discussing this, that the disillusion, the detriment of male role models for a growing young man today is making their lives difficult. It is making their lives empty. Males have we discussed it, he mentions it earlier, but males have the largest proportion of self-deletion. I think it's 70% of self-deletion is men, not women.
Is he okay?
No, look at him. Greatest of all. I really love this. Biracial characters are woke. They're woke? Yes. So, for context, Wonder Woman in 1984, Pedro Pascal's the villain in it, and in the movie, he has this son. And all of a sudden, this guy goes, hey, of course, they had him, be Asian.
Yes, the normal
not normal
default state of this universe.
Pedro Pascal still has an Asian child for some reason.
The other, cast members were like, can't we just assume the mom's Asian?
I think that's a pretty reasonable inference that if your kid is partially Asian...
It could have been adopted, it could have been,
Well, I assume because I know how humans work that if your kid is half Asian, then you had sex with an Asian.
And well, I don't understand why they didn't have a scene where they showed the mom to, confirm it.
No, but at least just be consistent and show the fucking wife.
Wait, so you said you'd be much happier if the wife dropped off if she was Asian?
Yeah, at least just to give a thread, because it's just a bit jarring.
And they're like, why would you need that?
But don't you just think it's weird?
No.
No.
I don't know what the weird part is.
I'm very lost.
Yeah, why would that matter?
And then he never really answered the question. And then he was just like, it was, I don't know.
It was too logical for him.
But they just wanted to have diversity kid in for some reason.
The kid wasn't diversity hired.
Worse, double POC.
Yeah. My question from all of this is, how does a man like this come to be? Well, here's a few tidbits I can find about the guy. Surprisingly enough, I found 2 separate wikis about him online. 2? Yes, one was a YouTube wiki and the other one was a wiki from the podcast I used to listen to. According to this wiki, his real name is Terrence Von Higginbottom.
Alright, that's where it started.
Higginbottom.
This is wonderful.
I feel like that would be your last name.
Yeah. Also funny, in 2 of these separate wikis, they described his hair color as bald. I went back to the wiki just to double check I had all the sources right. And the thing about his name was taken off his wiki, so do with that as you will.
See, this is what happened. Everyone learned about his Higgy little Gigglebottom nickname. He lost confidence in his masculinity. He's like, oh, these women, they're everywhere. And that's his origin story.
Higgy little bottom, higgy little Gigglebottoms?
That's exactly what
Hey guys, it's Higgy little Gigglebottom.
That's gonna be my favorite tag from now on.
Higgy little Gigglebottom. They didn't like the fact that people were saying he sounded like the owner of an orphanage in the 80s.
Oh my god!
Terrence Von Higginbottom.
That does sound.
Yes.
Scrooge McDuck.
Okay, now that I've given you all of this context, let's get to the situation at hand.
Sorry, I
I can't wait till China or Russia invades America, and these people are trying to tell the soldiers what they are.
I mean, I knew someone in university who wanted to go by the name.
Unironically, the person who started all of this was actually a Twitter user in support of him, but then it kind of blew out of his control. I don't know who this guy is, but he has a blue check mark, so his opinion doesn't matter. Okay.
Taking my headphones off. Fuck that.
Oh wait, actually, I should probably give you the context first. I've heard this guy before. I just realized. Yeah. I've seen him before, and I've heard his ugly little voice. Just like his. I should probably give you some context. A AAA game came out very recently.
It's called Starfield. It's by the guys who did Fallout.
I like Starfield.
It's kind of like Mass Effect, where it's like in the sci-fi RPG. Context here is he's at a character customizer screen in this game. In this screen, you're allowed to choose the pronouns of your character. So you get the option of she, her, he, him, they, them. So like no neo-pronouns at all. According to him, this was because he was 7 hours in and was already not liking the game. So I'll just give that, because at least it's not like he immediately booted up the game and this was the reaction he got. Let's look at his reaction to getting to choose the pronouns of your character.
I just want to say something to you, Bethesda. Just want to say a little something. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off, fuck that. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to sit down, comfy chair, turn on my PC, fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself, think, oh my god, just think of this world, just think of all the planets I can visit, all the immersive things that I can get involved with, all the fights, all the relationships, all the people I meet, all the places I go. I'm so excited to go there. And you know, I love nothing more than, with all of that laid out in front of me, I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Because that's all we fucking know! Because we're boring! We're so fucking boring!
This man doesn't have pronouns. His pronouns are bald.
We can't see past our own fucking reflection! That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda Western Game Company! Fuck your immersion! Fuck you having a good time! Fuck you falling into a world and just getting lost! No, no, no! Current fucking day! Fuck off! You're boring! You're fucking dull! You have nothing to say! You are a one-hived mind twat waffle! That's all you fucking are!
He's
And you
yelling
wonder
at
why
camera,
people
guys.
against
Yes.
I just know he
sick
thought he
and
hates
tired! You take everything we love, all our immersions, all our fantasies, all our escapism, and you just can't help shovel your dog shit, fucking crap ideology into everything!
That's 2 minutes.
Single, solitary fucking
He
thing!
just loves to hear himself talk.
I guess initial thoughts before we continue.
Okay, let me think about this for a second because
already.
he's talking about. Okay, I don't really know that much about the Starfield game you just said.
Yeah.
But he's talking about the pronouns as if the world is based on real life, like the Starfield or whatever. Isn't it sci-fi? Didn't you say it was sci-fi?
Yeah, it's actually set in the future.
So why? Like, I don't understand. Like, why can't they do that?
Well, I get to like his response to like people's outcry later on. But basically, the concept of putting pronouns in a game itself is inherently political.
Yeah. This guy, like,
but that's just
just
language.
Yeah.
There are games that allow you to customize characters.
Yes.
There's like the male option,
Yeah.
female.
Well, it's
Yeah.
because they don't have pronouns. It's just gender, and also there's not a non-binary option. I guess that's what his.
No, I feel like there is.
Which is funny because this guy is a Mass Effect fan. Which in that game you can choose your gender, and also you can choose your sexuality. Like you can bang aliens in that game. Yeah.
I know he
Yeah.
loves it now. No, but the thing is, like, he's obviously so, like, uneducated and inexperienced, and like all these, like, things he obviously doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, this guy plays video games for a living. Like, what kind of a life is he? Like, he has no right to talk about this sort of stuff. He can waste his life away in that comfy little chair of his and scream at a camera.
Yeah, he doesn't have an argument.
He doesn't.
Pronouns is the argument.
He's just talking to talk.
Continuing the story, the tweet gets retweeted by several different streamers and content creators. The most famous being Hassan Piker and this guy called the Act-Man. Anyway, Act-Man says, gorilla-shaped man on the verge of crying because Starfield lets you pick pronouns at the start of the game that's never brought up again. Somebody please shoot this guy with a bear tranquilizer. He's going to attack someone.
Gorilla-shaped man.
After this dude becomes like a laughingstock. Pronouns trends on Twitter for about 24 hours.
Oh my
And he gets a bunch of Wojaks made of him. Dude even got a Forbes article about him. Several different content creators react to this, and what I think is important is to point out the variety of channels mocking him. So if you look at all the different people who retweeted or like made comments about it, you find that it's a blend of like left journalists, meme channels, and like just random like commentators online. Az will try to convince you differently, but all ends of the political spectrum are making fun of this guy. And it's for a lot of reasons. How over the top he reacts, the fact that it's an RPG, so of course you're gonna like choose the character's like gender. Pokemon was brought up a lot. Az's fans say that the difference is that him wasn't included, and the fact it wasn't forced upon you, which I don't really get. Like, you can't continue Pokemon without choosing the gender of your character. So
That's how
that's
majority of video games
even
go.
the old ones. Like, you can't start the game unless you pick one.
Yeah.
Unless you design your character first.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out again, you got free choices in Starfield. That was it. Like,
there wasn't anything other than basic, big air quotes, pronouns.
I guess the other one was you could like make a male character design, but give it like she, her pronouns, or make it like a female character design and then give it he, him pronouns. Which, I don't know.
How is that even affecting him? I don't understand.
Oh, it's affecting him a lot.
Bought a wig
Yeah.
just to do that. That's sick and vile.
Dude, I can show you some images. Like I said before, he's part of an anti-woke community, so they all came to bat for him.
Bad.
Yes.
He has an evil grin on his
Yeah.
face.
No, that's supposed to be his charming grin. Okay. Yes.
Definitely charming.
He doesn't have that as an attribute.
No.
That's his charming.
Okay, you guys can look at these lovely images while I continue the rest of my script.
Oh, I have it.
It
Yes.
looks like a blobfish in the third one.
Yeah. You're not far off. He made a little video addressing the situation. I'm not going to play that to you because I'm not wasting your time with that.
Thank you.
Basically, he got the entire argument wrong. Most of the video is him either not understanding the internet's reaction or lying about it. He frames the response like the people online are trying to cancel him and say that he isn't allowed to speak his opinion, but that's not what people are saying. No one was mad at him, they were just openly mocking at how big a reaction they got. The first thing he says is,
Man has opinion about video game. Internet goes absolutely nuclear crazy about opinion on video game.
you guys saw the reaction. It was not opinion. It was
It was him
just like
screaming at the camera.
it was a mental break, like a tantrum.
Yes.
He looked like he was about to poop his pants.
And as like I showed you, like one of the biggest people like making fun of him was like a guy who was kind of in his sphere. Also, he wanted to make it very clear that that the crying fact was in fact a lie. He did not cry in the video. And also,
he practically did. Those were man tears.
yeah, he was on the verge of tears.
Men don't cry.
No, he's too strong for that. He's too alpha for that. And the second one was Ackman said like he showed a clip of as like reacting to like the Hogwarts Legacy controversy, which you don't know. It's just like they made a Harry Potter game, and a lot of people were boycotting the game because of J.K. Rowling. And as reaction to that was that he thought that it was dumb that people were trying to boycott the game because of JK's like political opinions. So Ackman was saying that it's hypocritical that he would say that, but also get mad at Starfield for having allegedly political opinions that he doesn't like.
I was actually talking about buying Hogwarts Legacy and not boycotting it because I wouldn't bow down to the intersectional, woke, far-left ideological mob that wanted to cancel it because Harry Potter is made by J.K. Rowling.
I don't necessarily agree with that because, like, in his rant, he doesn't tell his like followers to not play the game. It's just, you know, he just shits himself. There's no real
I
point
feel
to
like
it.
he's implying it.
Politics are only okay when you agree with them, in his eyes.
Also, his thing about J.K. Rowling doesn't even make any sense because if she's earning money from that game, she's gonna use that money to fund horrific organizations that support right-wing ideas.
Well, so also to defend himself, he said that he liked Hogwarts Legacy, but he also found woke elements in it. And the example that I thought really kind of circled back to like his outburst was of the one of two negative things that he commented on the game. He called like the bartender in the game ridiculous.
See, and I enjoyed the gameplay and I enjoyed the story. Didn't prevent me from criticizing the barmaid, which was silly, or other aspects of little bits of wokeness or intersectionality.
Now, I know what he's talking about, because, like, there's a bartender at a restaurant, and she's a trans woman, and that was, like, his one of only two complaints about the game.
In a J.K. Rowling game? Really?
Yes,
That was
the
a
trans
complaint?
character.
Oh, I'm sorry that there was someone who was a real person.
But in a J.K. Rowling
Like, how, I don't understand why people think it's, like, woke to, like, have a gay character or a trans character, like,
Yeah,
guys,
exactly.
It's not woke, it's just normal.
Yeah, from what, like, I've seen in the game, like, she just mentions the fact that she's trans, but, like, it doesn't affect the story. All Az says about the fact that she exists is that it's woke. So I have to assume that Az finds the act of putting a trans character or a gender non-conforming person into social media is political.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
So,
It's just real life.
yeah.
He's mad that people exist.
I think of a lot of, like, people in his group, basically they complain about wokeness and, like, new video games. Their idea is you can have these opinions, but keep it out of the media that we love. So, like, if, like, Star Wars or Marvel or, like, DC, they have, or comics, like, they get more woke in their eyes or more diverse. It's like you're shoving your agenda onto us. But, people, the main thing people go, like, well, what about this character, or what about this, like, act in the 80s? Because, like, for example, they all like X-Men, and they complain about new X-Men being woke, and they're like, well, X-Men was, like, supposed to be an entire, like, allegory for, like, minority groups in the 80s. That's what, like, Stan Lee said. Sping was like, well, that it wasn't woke because it was just social justice in the back then. So, well, it's okay because they're fine with that older version of, like, being political, and they don't like the new version of being political. Plus, the last 5 minutes of a 16-minute video are him going on a general rant about wokeness in media. I swear this guy has, like, one speech that he's made up in his mind about his disdain for politics, and he repeats on whatever platform that he's allowed to be on.
He's got no response when people actually, like...
Is his opinion not political either, though? If he's gonna be like that.
Well, he's not political because he's not woke.
That is a political stance.
There's no such thing as politics.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just whataboutisms. It took him 8 minutes and, like, 30 seconds to actually start defending himself in the video.
He doesn't know what to say when people prove him wrong.
No, he's not very...
He doesn't know
literate.
what to say at all at any time in his life.
How many, like, followers and subscribers does this guy have?
I can tell you.
But, like, who's watching his videos, they also must be, like, really dense.
351,000.
Oh! Too many.
Too many.
That's the saddest thing about this kind of to me. Is the fact that there are people who watch that clip and were like, oh yeah.
We definitely know some
Preach,
people.
brother,
Yeah.
preach.
Because it's funny, because he even ends like his rant at the end with, this drama will fade, but will not fade are the people who found this video and was like, finally, a man who's speaking the words that I've been thinking for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
They're gonna go down, like, in history as, like, a bunch of idiots.
yeah.
They're gonna go down in history, but not in the way that they want.
They're not even gonna be in history because they're
Yeah.
irrelevant.
No one is gonna be
Giggle,
looking
giggle,
at Twitter textbooks.
No.
Source: Gigglebottom. Higgy little Gigglebottom. Sorry, forgot the little.
That's okay. Thank you for listening to me talk about this man. I find it a little reassuring the fact that, like, people who are more, like, conservative are like, yeah, we don't claim this guy is stupid. And I find it nice that, like, for once, it seemed like a lot of people from different sides of the political spectrum all came together to mock one person for their stupid opinion.
All different sides of Twitter came together,
Yeah.
and they healed the world peace when they bullied this guy. He gets mad. I just don't understand like why they always start screaming about things being too diverse or whatever.
See, it
doesn't make any sense. Like back then, it was because of politics that there wasn't all this representation. But now that it's, I guess, becoming a sort of more open, sort of more open. It's just people get angry.
So in conclusion, as you're boring and you can't see past your own reflection.
And suck my eggs.
Fucking pronouns!
Well, that was a jolly good romp. My friends sure are charming, funny, and sexy. Unfortunately, I've had a hard time coming up with the ending to this video. And by hard time, I mean I procrastinated for a year and a half. I keep trying to think of a good reason why I haven't finished this video. But to be honest, I just hate thinking about this guy. Az and his friends are ugly people, in personality and looks. I hate listening to them. I go to his Twitter and watch his videos for references, and he's just spewing bigotry all the time. And it feels a lot like projection. This might be a coincidence, but soon after the whole pronoun event thing happened, he started going on a diet. I mean, at least he got something positive out of being an internet laughingstock. And you know what? If he's going to mock women's appearances for a living, he probably shouldn't look like a blobfish. Speaking of physical appearances, this leads me to my theory on why after all these petty fights Az has been in, the pronouns incident stung him the most. In my personal opinion, Az's content comes from his insecurity in shifting gender roles. If you take a look at the Az hot takes I told my friends, 3 of the 5 points were about how a male or female character didn't act the way he thought they should. You can especially see this in how he talks about male characters.
We're seeing less and less the actual traits of James Bond in the role. And why? Because they're being deemed as toxic. Because he goes out and he's assertive with women and he takes command and he sleeps around and he shoots people, he drives fast cars and all this kind of stuff. No, he's toxic now. That's all toxicity. Oh, down with the patriarchy. Oh.
I mean, I don't want to come across as an armchair psychologist, but Az seems pretty uncomfortable with men showing emotions. And I think that's why him, and by extension a lot of people in his friend group, have picked trans people as a target. Trans people act out of personal desire, not societal expectations. And because trans people are okay with diverging from societal norms, Az has decided to make that his problem. Every day. All the time. Oh my god, just freaking go outside, my dude. Now, if Az was by himself, complaining about the trans people influencing his mind, I would just leave him alone. But like we said in the video, this guy has followers. And I'm kind of worried about what his impact on them will be. I mean, I found out about Az through EFAP, and I came to them for movie reviews. Now, I didn't take Az seriously, but a lot of people in the fan base really liked him. And I'm assuming, like me at the time, they were teenagers. If these kids grew up in an apolitical household, Az might be their first introduction to conservative content. In fact, when you hear from ex-conservatives my age, a lot of them were introduced to those ideas through movie reviewers.
I was in kind of like a conservative pipeline when I was younger, but then I got out of it.
And what was it? Was it Reddit? Was it YouTube videos?
Star Wars reviews.
We thought the problem was Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. No, it's the Star Wars reviews.
So I believe laughing at this loser is the best way to combat him. Show the fearmonger's fans how sad he looks. I mean, people from all sides were talking about how stupid his rant was. You're soft, Az. And no amount of working out, bragging about your sex life, or insisting that gorillas are super attractive, you guys, will change that. So, I'm releasing this video to show how small someone's world can be. I mean, this is a real guy who complains about this stuff every week. His biggest impact on humanity will be the time he screamed and cried about a character customizer. There are so many things to do, places to see, things to try and change. But this nerd's biggest concern is how fat a fictional character's tits are. And you know what? If you want to make the argument that he's just doing this for the grift, then that means he's made his whole world revolve around said character titty fatness and pronouns. Which honestly is way more pathetic than if he was actually genuine.